it. Okay, you say, all right, I like this. This is interesting. But if you had to name it, if somebody came up to you and said, what do you enjoy hearing about? I think people would be hard-pressed to give an answer.
If somebody asked me that question, I would have an answer. It's probably not specific enough. But if somebody said, what do you want to hear on the radio? I would just say, I like listening to interesting stories.
Yeah.
Let's tell good stories. Okay, what kind of stories? Stories about what? I don't know. Interesting stories.
From the text line, good morning, fellas. From me, the president of your fan club. Well, it's actually just me and Steve. A couple of homeless guys we talked into signing up in the fan club so far, but we'll get there. And by the way, man, that Steve's a nice guy. He sure is. God, that Steve's great, isn't he? 96.5 KECO, Nathan Landry and Steve and the other guy and two homeless guys who are in the fan club. 48 degrees. Jimmy Clark, everybody's favorite. Later, he is America's sweetheart now. James, Richard, I don't know what his full name is. Jimmy Clark, everybody loves him, right?
Is his name James? Is it really James?
Yes, it is. It is.
Really?
And I know, why do I know that? It has something to do with an email address. I think it has something to do with an email address is the reason I know that. But I was talking to him yesterday just before his show, and I've talked about this on air, and I've talked to you off air, but like, for instance, 2 days ago, I'm just sneezing my head off. Yesterday morning, I wake up. Yesterday morning, I had to blow my nose 3 or 4 times before I ever left the house for work. And this stuff doesn't usually happen until late February and through March and April, my spring allergies. Well, talking to Jimmy Clark about it yesterday, and I could hear, when he was talking, I could hear his voice was a little raspy. And I know what that means for Jimmy. It means allergies. Mm-hmm. And so I'm talking to him, but he said, yeah, I had to take an allergy pill. And he said something, he'd read something on Mesonet, and anyway, we'd been warned about this, and he said, it's because it's been so unseasonably warm. And Jimmy and I agreed, and so we must be right, because we agreed with it. We need to have winter. And Jimmy said it's for the ecosystem. We need winter for the ecosystem in order for nature to calm down, in order for the allergens to calm down, in order
the stuff in the air and to get rid of them critters, them creepy crawly things that need to be underground.
Yeah,
need to get rid of them.
Landry, you were telling me yesterday
Nathan,
you
there
saw
was a wasp downstairs last week.
You were telling me that you in the neighborhood you saw someone's lawn, and on the edge of that lawn there was green grass.
I was shocked. Did I see that? Not yesterday. What is today? Wednesday? It must have been Monday. I was out for my Monday walk, and I was walking by a particular individual's house. Sometimes appears on this show. The very edge of his lawn was green. There was green grass. Most of the grass was dead. You know, we used to say brown or yellow. It's almost white. The dead grass is almost white now. But on the very edges, green grass. It's January. This stuff is supposed to be dead, but it has been so unseasonably warm.
And look, I know that I am in the minority here on this opinion. I know that 94% of our listening audience is saying, bring on that spring weather. We love it. It's 60, 70's great. I wish it was 80. I'm sympathetic to that because nobody enjoys living in a deep freeze. I don't know how folks in Minnesota do it. I don't know how people in North Dakota do it. I don't know. Canada.
I would lose my mind.
I mean, 4 or 5 months of never seeing the ground because it's always snowing.
Never seeing the sun and never seeing the ground.
I talked to a guy yesterday who had spent some time in Nebraska. And listen, those Midwestern plain states up in northern Kansas and in Nebraska in that area, they see winter. He said you'd go out to the parking lot and couldn't recognize which car was yours because they're all covered in snow. I mean, when it's that way for 3 or 4 or 5 months, I understand that. I wouldn't enjoy that. However, we do need to have a winter so that the allergens can tamp down and so that, the earth needs to lie fallow, Landry. We need a hibernation of nature so that we can all re-energize ourselves.
And so those blasted moles will stop tearing up my backyard. I mean, surely aren't they supposed to hibernate too? Don't they go underground in winter?
No, Chopper Dave, you've done it again. He says, I love hearing those Landry twins harmony. That's what Chopper D said. I love hearing those Landry twins harmony. 10 minutes after 7, 96.5 KECO's The Early Morning Show. Nathan, Landry, Chopper Dave, Steve, the other guy, and the homeless guys in our fan club welcome you till Wednesday morning. Tonight, the next Penny News comes out. That's tonight, the next Penny News comes out. Be on the lookout. For you to keep making money, your equipment and machinery have got to keep running. American Hose and Supply will sure enough help you do that. American Hose and Supply is inside the Camrock building next to Fred's Steakhouse in Elk City. Here's a question Landry and I were discussing earlier, and I want to ask you, the listener. Can you be friends with, or simply get along with, or respect someone who disagrees with you politically? Whether you are left, right, or middle. Now, I realize a moderate, somebody in the middle, you assume they get along with everybody. If you're a person of the left, can you respect and like and get along with and even be friends with someone on the right? If you're a person of the right, can you like, respect, get along with, and be friends with someone on the left? And I'm going to say, and look, I realize personality is the number one determinant. Shared experiences, shared interests, and personality are the two biggest determinants, I think, of friendship. It helps to have things in common. Otherwise, what are you doing together? And you have to like that person's personality. I understand that. You're not going to befriend somebody simply based on their political beliefs, but will you dislike somebody based on their political beliefs? 225-9697. What do you think? 225-9697. Text us and let us know. And I'm going to say this. I hope it's not the case. I hope, and yet I'm naive because I know it's true that there are people who just cannot get along. And there are people who just do not like each other based on politics, which is unfortunate.
What is strange to me, Nathan, is the level to which people thrust politics into their discussions, the level to which politics is part of their lives. See, I teach government and politics. I've studied it. And yet, when I'm outside the classroom, I don't usually talk much about politics or government. I mean, I get paid to do that, so I do that. But when I'm interacting with people, most of the time, I'm not talking about politics. I can be friends with people based on personality and shared interests. Politics rarely come up. I rarely bring up politics. Other people might. And I find it often distasteful. If I have friends, if I have people with whom I interact, coworkers, I don't talk about politics. Some people do. For some reason, politics are very important to a lot of people. And I think it's because of information access. Because we have so much access to so much information. And some people spend a lot of time looking at cable TV, going to specific outlets for their information that are political. And it seems to infuse their lives. Their lives largely revolve around politics, I don't know why.
I think you've hit on something. 96.5 KECO is the early morning show. So we're getting some texts coming in, and I appreciate that. Rusty says on the Nathan text line, Rusty Rickard says, one of my closest friends sits on the opposite side of the political aisle as I do. We still get along great. We do things together, and we don't argue about politics. So does that mean you don't discuss them at all? And have you decided, you know what, since we disagree, we better not talk about them at all? Or is it that you both know what the other one thinks? Okay, whatever. Yeah, you're just a knucklehead. Let's go on and be friends. Now, here's the show text line. Yeah. And I asked the question, can you like and respect and be friends with somebody who disagrees with you politically? One of our listeners says yes, as long as we're not talking politics. But what Rusty just said and what this listener just said, I think speaks to what Landry just said. People have always disagreed politically. I mean, even in Western Oklahoma, I remember being a kid and everybody was a Democrat in the 80s because that's what we'd always been. And frankly, the Democratic Party was a little bit different back then. And so you had a lot of Democrats and there were a few Republicans around, and there was not this animosity because politics just didn't come up that much. And yet now everybody wants to talk about it nonstop. That's part of the problem. They want to talk about it nonstop.
I remember growing up In the 1980s, as a kid, I heard the adults say, the big people say, two things you don't talk about: religion and politics. And I think to a great extent, maybe people actually did abide by that agreement,
Mm-hmm.
that part of the social contract that said, we're not just going to spend all of our time talking about politics. I don't want to know what your political views are. I don't care. And I hope you don't care what mine are. And I hope you don't want to know what they are.
One of our listeners says, friends, ... I always try not to discuss politics except lightly.
Yeah, that's probably a very good approach.
Rusty says, we have simply chosen to agree that we disagree and not let that interrupt our friendship. I think that is a great outlook. I really do. I think that's a great approach. I think back when pre-Bill Clinton era, whether you want to blame Bill Clinton and the lefties or Newt Gingrich and the righties, whatever, it just seems like around that time, things really started getting a lot hotter.
I agree. I don't know if there's any way to actually quantify that, but I based on my observation, I think you're right.
But if you go back to that, go before that, okay? Go back to the early 90s, go back to the 80s and 70s back in American history. Here's what I think, based on zero research. I would imagine back then, in the days of the 80s and 70s and 60s, I would imagine for the average citizen of America and probably the average citizen of Western Oklahoma, the idea of just needing to get along with people and wanting to get along with people was more important than finding out about somebody's politics and then arguing about it.
And maybe,
whereas today it seems like the number one, the approach is political. Who'd you vote for? What do you think about?
Well, and maybe part of it is society, technology. We spend less time with humans, in a room with humans, than we do on a device, reading information. That is, by the way, there is something to this whole algorithm.
Yeah.
You hear podcasters and talking heads talking about the information ecosystem, and you and I are fed information that technology thinks we want to see, that reinforces our beliefs and simultaneously causes us to dislike people who disagree with us.
Scott Galloway, he's a really smart guy. He says, companies are making a fortune off creating rage, particularly in young males. He's written a book, and I'm wondering if I should read this book. It's called Notes on Becoming a Man or Notes on Being a Man. I'm wondering if I should read that. But he says that rage, there's a lot of money to be made in rage, in creating rage. And so people are getting angry, and a lot of it's political, social and political. And that's the go-to. That's number one. That's what people start. That's why how many social media posts are political? It's people's, they've chosen to focus on that.
Like the Facebook post we talked about yesterday on the show. The first, few words were the Supreme Court, and I quit reading.
And frankly, what are we arguing about? Issues that are marginal issues. The transgender, this has been the big hot button issue in America for the last 2 or 3 years. And yes, it's an issue. It does exist. This is a thing. I understand it's a thing, but does it impact every one of us every day of our lives? No. Does it impact every one of us occasionally? Probably not. It impacts a very small amount of people, a relatively small amount of time. But it's a big hot button issue. And so people can get on Facebook and scream to each other about it. And you got this rage out there, this anger, and the algorithm reinforces what people like. And so it feeds you more of what you agree with. And because you're not face-to-face with somebody, you don't mind just ripping them. I mean, ripping them, Landry. People will rip each other online. Whereas, as one of our beloved Supreme Court justices said several years ago, he talked about members of the high court who disagreed with each other politically. They disagreed philosophically. The rulings, a little different. But they always got along. He said, we eat together once a week. And he said, it's very difficult to be mad at somebody and argue with somebody when you are breaking bread with them. So the human contact, face-to-face contact, remains important for maintaining civility. But when you're sitting alone in a room on your phone or on a desktop, and you feel free to light into anybody and light them up. A listener says, it seems as though one side is more tolerant of opposing views than the other side. I don't see that. I see both sides just really disliking each other. That's just my opinion. I mean, I haven't done any type of research on it, Landry. It's anecdotal. It's based on the 3 things I've seen the last year. So my opinion is just as valid or invalid as anybody else's. But it just seems like both sides just get mad. Anger is the default position for a lot of people.
It is. And what really is troublesome is that increasingly people can't seem to agree on reality, on facts, things that actually happen.
Well, there's that. And I
problematic.
think it's a shame that people can't disagree with each other. I think it's a shame that 2 people who oppose each other politically can't rationally discuss those issues. If you're pro-abortion, why? Why do you think abortion is a good thing? If you're anti-abortion, why? Why do you think it's a good thing? There are reasonable discussions to be had on every issue. There are reasonable discussions to be had on every issue, and you will not make progress resolving anything until you can at least talk about it without screaming.
That is one thing, but another is, why is it people are talking about it anyway? You know, in everyday life, how often do I run into people who with whom I interact about politics? It really doesn't happen a lot.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, why are we talking about these issues? Because that's what people are talking about around the country, on TV, and on podcasts and social media.
Yes.
And so we're just repeating what they're talking about, and then we find people to argue with over it. When we shouldn't. We should be talking about we should be talking about the national championship football game.
That's right.
Things that are really important.
That's right.
We should be talking about music.
Well, look, it seems like in the 1980s and back, you watched the news occasionally just to find out what was going on. But now, with nonstop quote news, it's not to find out what's going on. It's to hear people say things you agree with. Left, right, or in between. Because is there enough stuff going on you need to know about? Do I need to know nonstop what's going on in Ukraine? Do I need to know nonstop what's going on in Montreal or Seattle? Do I? Does it impact my daily life? No. Do I need to know nonstop what they're doing in Washington, D.C.? Probably not.
New York City.
New York City.
People around the country are very upset
LA.
about who was elected mayor of New York City.
Yeah.
I would be more interested if I lived in New York City.
Sure.
But I don't.
I frankly, Nathan G. Brewer, the older I get, I don't give 2 hoots about who's the mayor of New York City. I don't live there. Doesn't affect me. Whatever. They voted him in. It's their business.
Yeah.
I suppose they've got the right to do that.
And by the way, if they don't like what he's doing,
vote him out.
Probably vote him out.
Run him out of town.
That's right.
One of our listeners said the most important thing is we can all listen to the early morning show and get along just fine.
That's right.
You know what?
Absolutely.
And I just believe that. Landry, I believe in Camrock's house blend oil. I went out to Camrock yesterday and had the nicest conversation with a gentleman named Mike Southard and a former student of yours named Bracken Ulrich.
Good folks.
I think that's his name.
It is Bracken Ulrich.
I cannot remember anybody's name anymore.
Ulrich.
And they were just swimming in that oil. That low cost, Landry, reasonably priced house blend oil they sell to farmers and ranchers and oil field companies. Buy it in bulk, save a ton of money. Camrock Supply, next to Fred's Steakhouse in Oak City. 724, 48, 49 degrees.
Hey, in the next segment, remind me to talk to you about 2 things that happened yesterday.
They're expecting me to get whatever task done. To a farmer, a tractor, combine, gets them up and running. He's back in the field, makes some money. Guy in the oil field, their piece of equipment's running again. That makes some money. Solves that problem. I'm Brock Kalk, and my company is American Hose and Supply. We sell all types of industrial hose and fittings, oil field or agriculture. So if your farmer need a hose built, you can come in, we'll build it. You're a oil field customer and need us to come out and see you, we'll come out and see you and take an order or pick up a hose, build it, bring it back to you. If we're competitive on price, we say we'll bring it to you. We'll do whatever it takes to get it to you, make life easier on you, or you can call us to solve a problem. Hey, can you get this? Why wouldn't you? American Hose and Supply, 2111 South Main, Elk City, Oklahoma, in Camrock Building next to Fred's.
Or call 303-1123. 303-1123.
Why wouldn't you?
Thank you just doesn't seem to be enough. There are lots of places to buy cars and lots of places to have them serviced. We are really humbled by the trust you placed in us at Barbara Dyson Ford last year. We don't take it for granted. You're the reason we had a terrific 2025. It was all because of you, and thank you for that. If you need us in 2026, we'll still be in the northeast part of Elk City and online at barbadysonford.net. We'd be honored to serve you this year.
We did the Veterans Monument in Oklahoma City. At the time we did it, they didn't want any names on it. They were just doing the different wars in bronze panels on granite. 20 years later, they decided they want all the veterans' names on the back of the monument. Well, there's no way to engrave it, so they wanted to put bronze names on there, and we said, you can't, that won't work well. They ended up finding someone that would put the bronze names on there, and then they started kind of popping off and everything. So then they called us to go in and see how we could clad it and get the names on it after the fact. So there's just things that come up in the granite industry where you have to investigate and figure out how to fix it or create it. Some things you just won't do, but there's projects that are nice out there that not everybody will have a hand in, will want to have a hand. Willis Granite Products. Our website is willisgranite.com. We did the Veterans Monument in Oklahoma City. At the time we did it, they didn't want any names on it. They were just doing the different wars in bronze panels on granite. 20 years later, they decided they want all the veterans' names on the back of the monument. Well, there's no way to engrave it, so they wanted to put bronze names on there, and we said, you can't, that won't work well. They ended up finding someone that would put the bronze names on there, and then they started kind of popping off and everything. So then they called us to go in and see how we could clad it and get the names on it after the fact. So there's just things that come up in the granite industry where you have to investigate and figure out how to fix it or create it. Some things you just won't do, but there's projects that are nice out there that not everybody will have a hand in, will want to have a hand. Willis Granite Products. Our website is willisgranite.com.
That's number one. And then number two is they can't do it, though, without the anger. You have an uncle who is rooting for you to have a big retirement. Your Uncle Sam, you want to keep that uncle out of your retirement? Advanced Financial Strategies in Clinton, block and a half south of Homeland. Their website, retirewithbaca.com.
Nathan, yesterday, two unusual things happened. If just one of them had happened, it would have been remarkable enough, but it happened twice, or two separate similar things happened. We've talked on the show how scared we all get, including my kids, when somebody comes to the door.
Yeah.
Somebody knocks on the door or rings the doorbell. My kids run for cover. Dad, somebody's here! Dad, somebody's here! And then I have to climb out from underneath the bed because I've hidden too. Yesterday, that happened twice at my house. Now, happening once is unusual. Most days, nobody comes to my door. Yesterday, it happened twice. And both of them were a little disappointing. I had to turn people away both times. I'll start with the second one. The second one was later in the evening. Two guys with a solar panel company came to the door, and then, they rang the doorbell, and, hey, we're with, Popcorn Energy Company. And did you know that your electric company is going to keep raising the rates? And do you own your home? And how long have you lived here? Is it a good neighborhood? And
Great neighborhood. Yes, I own a home.
And okay, and then I had to shut them down and say, okay, we're not interested, thanks. They went on their merry way. Earlier in the day, the stranger thing happened. A fellow pulled up in a car in front of my house. And I thought, oh, great, he's coming to my door. Came to my door. He's carrying something in his left hand. So I thought, okay, it's not the UPS guy. Is he wanting me to sign a petition so somebody can run for office? Rings the doorbell. I answer it. A fellow with a thick accent shows me the green. I don't know if it was paper, if it was that thick paper that if it was laminate. It was green. It was longer than an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. This green thing with that has human writing on it. And he says in his thick accent, I'm selling chances of a raffle to give away $1,000. And I thought, boy, this sounds all kinds of shady. And I thought, this guy probably doesn't have the permit from the city of Elk City to do what he's doing anyway. And maybe the solar panel people didn't either. But this guy's going door to door and saying, I'm selling raffle ticket chances to win $1,000. He never said who was giving away the 1,000. Is it guaranteed? And I just immediately said, I'm not interested. Boy, that sounds and it seemed all kinds of shady. This handwritten raffle, $1,000. He was selling chances to win $1,000. I doubt he had the permit. I don't know who was giving away the 1,000, what entity he's with, what business, what organization. I don't know. That was weird. And then later in the day, same day, the two guys with, the popcorn solar panel company come to my door, and they're soliciting too. How often do you have somebody come to your door?
I don't know, once every 6 months.
Right, that's about what I have. And I had two different outfits come to my door in the same day.
Was it the guy I saw while I was out walking? Was it that guy?
Guy wearing a cap?
I don't remember.
Was he carrying something green?
I don't remember. I didn't look.
Did he ask you for a raffle ticket money?
I try, I
for
can't.
$1,000?
I try not to look people in the eye or talk to them because they scare me, right? I'd rather just go to Facebook and talk about them.
Nathan, that first guy seemed all kinds of shady.
To the text line,
we were slim shady.
To the text line, we were talking earlier about, can you like someone who disagrees with you politically? Can you be friends with someone who disagrees with you politically? One of our listeners says, long ago in Chicago, unions had people who were hired for nothing else but to be what we call rabble-rousers. I think that continues to happen with the current issues. That may be true. It may very well be true. Another listener...
And by the way, it may be bots, and it may be Russian trolls and Chinese hackers and sowing discord. I keep hearing that.
One of our great listeners named Chopper Dave says, both sides are guilty. Most issues are more complex and nuanced than any Facebook warrior can even comprehend. The political parties just want to energize their bases by creating anger and making them think they have to pick a side.
I tend to agree.
I think there's a lot of truth in what Chopper Dave said there.
I think Chopper's spot on. Yeah, issues are pretty complex. The Supreme Court, they deal with some pretty complex issues.
It's like any issue,
and we like to make fun of politicians, but they deal with very complex issues as well.
And if it gets to the president's desk, there's a reason it had to get to the president's desk. If it gets to the Supreme Court, there's a reason it had to get to the Supreme Court.
I once heard a real or fictional president say, a decision that lands on my desk, there's a reason. If it was easier, somebody would have already made it. The decision would have already been made. They do have to deal with complex stuff, and it does get simplified. And all of us who have way too much confidence in our own knowledge and ability.
See, Landry, I said,
if I was president, here's what I'd do.
Can I quote myself?
Sure.
From yesterday? Remember what I told you?
Yes.
We've all convinced ourselves we're experts on everything. Particularly men of a certain age. Women are not nearly as bad at this, Landry. Men are. Women are not nearly as bad at this.
Yeah, I agree.
Men are.
I agree.
Particularly men over a certain age.
Yes.
We've convinced ourselves we're all experts on everything because we have limitless access to superficial knowledge. You can turn on the XYZ news station on TV and watch it 24/7 and get 30 seconds or 90 seconds of something. And then you can fire up your phone or computer and get on Facebook and see all the people who you agree with, because that's what the algorithm's feeding you. You can see the superficial posts people make, reinforcing what you already believe, or you can go search. Sometimes you even get energetic and go search something.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to the search engine, stuff I agree with. Well, not quite like that, but you search a topic, but then who do you end up picking? If you have an issue you're facing and you want people's opinion, you ask 10 people, who do you listen to? Chances are it's the person's opinion who said what you wanted to hear.
Confirmation bias?
We have limitless now, because of the internet, we have limitless access to superficial information. So I can get tidbits on every subject under the sun. We're all doctors now.
Uh-huh.
We're all health experts.
We're all lawyers.
We're all scientists. We're all lawyers.
We're all politicians.
We're all
coaches.
We're all coaches. That's right. Because we know who they should have hired or what play they should have run or how they should have practiced. We know everything because we've convinced ourselves we're all experts on everything because we have limitless access to superficial knowledge. But as Chopper Dave points out, many of the issues of today are very complex.
Nathan, earlier we were talking about the two different people or groups of people who came into my door yesterday. One was the Yakety Yak energy solar panel company people. Two guys came to the door. They're wanting to sell me solar panels for my roof. But earlier in the day, a fellow came to my house, very suspect, offering to sell me raffle tickets for the chance to win $1,000. Well, Leanne Butler has weighed in and said that guy came to my door this weekend, the raffle ticket guy.
Oh, my goodness.
I thought that was strange as well, but I thought he said something about doing the raffle for his son, maybe Clinton's school. I wondered why he was in Elk if the raffle was for Clinton's school. Very suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Leanne, I totally agree with you.
One
The
of
whole
our-
deal was suspect.
One of our listeners sent me a cute picture of another baby goat born last night.
Oh.
If we could focus on things like that instead of fighting about
right,
politics.
because we can all agree
baby goats
on
are
baby
cute.
goats.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're
cute.
great.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Oh, yeah!
Riley Bacca is an investment advisor representative of and advisory services offered through Royal Fund Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Every dollar you save for retirement has a silent partner, and it's your crazy Uncle Sam. He's waiting with his hand out, ready to take a chunk of your IRA, your 401k, and even your Social Security if you're not careful. But here's the truth. You can fight back. With the right strategy, you can keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket and out of Washington's. At Advanced Financial Strategies, we specialize in family wealth management, helping families in western Oklahoma cut down on future tax bills, maximize income, and keep control of their financial future. Don't wait for the IRS to decide how much of your retirement you get to keep. Call me, Riley Bacca, a certified financial planner professional here in Clinton, at 323-6800 or visit our website, retirewithbacca.com. Advanced Financial Strategies, your money, your future, your choice.
You got 5-6 tractors out there, you got a dozer, a traco, a grader, something like that. I mean, you go through a lot of oil in the season. I mean, you'll use a few hundred gallons in a season. So here at Camrock, we have the same specification oil as the other brand, where people think that they have to use that for a certain color on their tractors and stuff like that. But we have the same oil specifications as they do. Works just as well, does the same thing, lubes it just the same. Price comparison is, it's not even a comparison. We have a better price than anybody around on that type of oil. They can come in and talk to us, see what they want, or give us a call, and we can come out, see what they have, fill their tanks, set them tanks. That's what we've done here in the past. We've converted a lot of farmers over to our brand, our house brand of motor diesel oil. The price savings it's huge for them. We sell it to oil field companies also. They use it in frac pumps, and they're not happy, you know it, and it's working great for them.
Camrock is the name of the company. It's 2111 South Main, Elk City, south of Fred's Steakhouse.
The price savings it's huge for them.
We have a lot of patients that love that we kind of like to have fun.
They like to hear us singing together in the operatory, humming along. If you would like a serenade while you're getting treatment, we're your girls. But if you also want us to shut up, we will.
It's not so nerve-wracking for a lot of people.
We have a good time with our patients. Try to help put patients at ease, kind of distract on the fact that we're working in their mouth. We like to have a good day, and when you're around that type of atmosphere, usually it's kind of contagious. Others have a good time. You know, when you're having a good time, others have a good time too.
I'm Dr. Jamie Cameron, Southwest Dentistry and Cosmetics in Weatherford, catty corner to Walgreens, swdentalok.com. We're also on Facebook.
Southwest Dentistry and Cosmetics, where we treat you like family and do life-changing dentistry.
My dad and I don't change our minds easily, but we really wanted better grades on our cotton. So a couple of years ago, we met with Keith and the team at Carson County Gin. I'm cotton farmer Spencer Smith, and my dad is Jimmy Smith. We liked what we heard and saw in that meeting. We liked it a lot. Keith Mixon said he wanted to earn our business, so we gave him a chance, and it paid off. The communication was great through the whole process. They contacted me on a regular basis. When I called them, someone always answered the phone. The cotton came out looking great. Their attention to detail got us a higher grade and a higher price.
Turnaround time was excellent, but they made sure to do the job right to get us better, cleaner cotton. And then they helped us sell it for more money. Carson County Gin is located near White Deer, Texas, west of Pampa. You'll find them online if you Google them. Dad and I trust the team at Carson County Gin with our livelihood. They're the kind of people we want to do business with.
Who wound up winning? The mule got his money back. So he writes off a dead mule.
96.5. 96.5 KECO. Can't we all just laugh, huh? Carter Electric knows that you have wires that need to be tended to from time unto time. Let them do it at Carter Electric, authorized Generac generator dealer, Curvin and Mary Orgain, Carter Electric 225-2447. Here we go. Sunshine today, except for when it's partly sunny. High of about 53, north winds 20 to 30. Wow. It's going to be windy today. I didn't see that. Boy, when did that happen? Tonight, becoming mostly clear, low drops all the way to 28. It's going to actually try to feel like mid-January. North winds becoming light and variable. Tomorrow, sunny 65, so another warm-up. Today, 53, though, north winds strong. They're going to whip up 20 to 30 this afternoon, making you feel even cooler. Right now on the back porch, 48 degrees, and there you have it. They want to say thank you. They genuinely want to thank all of you who picked them last year, because they know there's a lot of places you can go to buy cars and trucks, and there's a lot of places you can go to have those cars and trucks serviced. But boy, a lot of you picked Barbara Dyson Ford, and they want to say thank you. And they want you to know that in 2026, they'll still be there if you need them. Let me see.
Well, I'll tell you what, sometimes just the strangest people show up on podcasts, you know? I mean, podcasts are all the rage, by the way. Sam, what time is your podcast? What time does it air?
About 2 a.m. every Thursday.
I'm sorry, was this the Dueling Vest podcast? Huh. So is that the name of the podcast? Vested Interest? Huh? Is that it?
There you go.
17 away. Sam Brewer is here from the Elk City Convention Center, here to put a spotlight on Elk City, Oklahoma. Brought to you by the Elk City Chamber of Commerce, Elk City Convention Center, Elk City Tourism, and the Lagoon Crew. Sam, go ahead.
Coming up next week, Wednesday the 21st, January 21st at 9 a.m., we have the Western Oklahoma Education Expo at the Elk City Convention Center. Students will have the opportunity to spend a day exploring what comes next after graduation. Open to select area schools. More information can be found at the Elk City Chamber of Commerce Facebook page. Then next Saturday, the Southwest Oklahoma Show Pig Series. Saturday, January 24th, next Saturday, at the Elk City Convention Center. Cards are due at 8 a.m. Show starts at 9 a.m. More information can be found at the Southwest Oklahoma Show Pig Series Facebook page. Then Tuesday, January the 27th, the Elk City FFA Local Livestock Show will be happening. Yet again, another event at the Elk City Convention Center barn. They just stay busy nonstop this time of year around there. You know what I mean?
I believe it. I've seen it.
Nonstop.
I believe it because I've seen it.
So you've seen it. And then Swish City Adult Basketball League. Registration is now open. It's open now. Now it is open. You must sign up by Wednesday, February 4th. Divisions are men's 5v5, women's 3v3, half court. More information on the Elk City Sports Facebook page.
Sign me up for that half court ball.
Well, they also do a fourth court.
I was going to ask if that was a thing. Fourth court?
Wait a minute. What does that mean?
I'm just making that up.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's on the hidden menu, the secret menu. You have to order the fourth court.
On the dark web?
Yeah.
I tell you what, if they have a fourth court Nerf league, talk to me.
96.5 KECO, putting a spotlight on Elk City, Oklahoma. Sam Brewer is here. Let me go back to the text line, okay? Landry mentioned a couple of Slim Shadys that came to see him yesterday. My daughter lives, this is from a listener, my daughter lives north of Elk City, and you cannot see her house from the road. You have to go up and turn down a very long, winding driveway that makes you wonder if it's even leading to a house. Yet she had 3 guys come up and knock on her door randomly over Christmas break. She has 4 small children that are usually playing outside. Luckily, they were inside because she said those guys really creeped her out, and she felt like they might be up to no good. Out in the country? Yeah, that's weird.
That is weird. Were any of them selling raffle tickets to win $1,000 or solar panels?
But, listen, our friend Chopper Dave said, by the way, I've been meaning to contact each of you about your expired car warranties. Don't make me come to your house to handle this. And then Chopper Dave went on to say, I like that raffle racket. May have to try that this weekend. 96.5 KECO's The Early Morning Show. Sam Brewer, you're one of the young people. You're 19 years old.
Oh, yeah.
You graduated high school just last May. When you were in school or when you still talk to your friends today, do politics ever come up, or is that just something for geezers like us?
No, it does.
It really?
Because there's, it's usually headlines, but also around elections.
Do you guys get together? Do you debate things or just laugh at the silliness?
Both.
Really? Okay, I'm not gonna make you get specific with subjects or people, but in your friend circle and group, when you get together, are there ever disagreements?
Yes.
How do you handle them?
Yelling. Trying to reason.
I mean, do you guys? So you're friends in spite of your disagreements? Okay, here's something else I'm going to say. I think that is more likely among young people than it is among older people. I think teens and 20-somethings probably have the ability to disagree politically with their friends and yet still like each other and like hanging out. Whereas it seems like the older we get, the more entrenched we become and the angrier we get about it.
I think the more sure of ourselves we become. And, of course, I think the less we spend time with friends.
That's part of it.
If you just spend time with people and friends, there's a reason you're friends. You like each other. And you're probably less inclined to get mad and yell at each other. Because even though, Sam, if you and your friends, people in your friend circle disagree, I mean, it's probably in good fun.
Yeah.
And you're still friends. You still hang out and do stuff.
I don't hate them because they disagree on a certain thing.
But the older we get, the less time we spend with real humans. Our social circle seems to get smaller. And we become more entrenched in our beliefs, more certain of ourselves. And sometimes the older we get, the more bitter we become.
We get mean.
Because of life. And so all of those ingredients create a real anger stew.
But also, Sam and Landry, something else that we have talked about, mostly off air. If somebody is really struggling in life, I mean, they're just not making any money and their wife left them and their kids hate them and they're about to get evicted or stuff like that. I can come closer to understanding that person getting angry because things are already just not going well about politics. And maybe they feel aggrieved. Maybe they feel like, the man's got his thumb on me and it's their fault, right? It's their fault. What Landry and I don't understand, I'm sorry, I shouldn't speak for you. Let me speak for Nathan. What Nathan doesn't understand are people who are doing really well, like in life, financially, they seem to be doing well, got a nice family, nice home, seem to be in good health. And yet, based on their social media posts, they seem very angry.
I also don't understand that.
I also don't understand that. And you know what? You're going to be seeing a very fiery Facebook comment from me after this is done.
About this interview?
About this interview.
Sam, I just wonder if you and your siblings react the way that my kids react. When somebody comes to the door and you hear, or the doorbell ring, how do you and your siblings react?
Well, as kids, we're trained to, hide when someone comes to the door.
Stranger!
So it's still kind of in all of us, even though most of us are in our teens or 20s.
Somebody comes to the door. Do all of you yell at your parents? Somebody's at Mom, Dad, somebody's at the door.
It could be USPS, and I'm like,
because
I don't want to answer.
That's what my kids do.
Yeah.
Dad, somebody's at the door. I want to say, answer the door.
Western Oklahoma Education Expo, Wednesday, January 21. So that's a week from today. I remember going to this thing, by the way.
What time is that?
9 a.m., not p.m.
It used to be on a Tuesday or a Thursday.
It is going to be Wednesday, January 21. When Landry and I were when we were in school at some point, we went to this.
That deal's been going on over 30 years.
So colleges will probably be there. Western Tech might be there. Military might be there. It's just it's a place and time to get information about post-high school educational training opportunities.
Aren't y'all doing the show from there on Wednesday?
Sam, let me tell you something. Let me explain something to you. 5 days a week, we have an educational expo from 7 to 8 a.m. If you listen to this show, you know it. We're educating the masses.
I feel enlightened.
Southwest Oklahoma Show Pig series, it just continues. The hits keep on coming. Lots of swine. It is swine time.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of swine run through that barn.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming up no. Saturday, January 24th. It's not this Saturday, Landry. It's next.
No, this
Saturday.
It's next.
Yeah, the next
one.
Which is not the next one.
Not this one.
Right, no.
The next one.
Elk City FFA Local Livestock Show. How about you now? Tuesday, January 27th.
Mm-hmm.
That's at the Elk City Convention Center barn. Sam, how do you do it? How do you keep all the livestock in and out?
1 foot after the other.
Swish City Adult Basketball League. Registration's open. You need to sign up, though, by Wednesday, February the 4th. Men and women. Elk City Facebook. See Elk City Sports Facebook. So go to Facebook, search Elk City Sports for that. So there are things near and at a distance coming up in Elk City, Oklahoma. Sam, where do people get this information?
On Facebook. In the search bar, you can type in Elk City Chamber of Commerce, and you'll find it there on Facebook.
Sam Brewer, you have taken college classes.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that because you took at least one of my college classes.
At least a few.
My semester began Monday. And I've noticed something this semester that's unique. I've had not one, not two, but either 3 or 4 different students who've had to ask me what time class was. When do classes meet? When does your class meet? I don't remember that before. I might have one person randomly ask, but I've had at least 2 people ask specifically, and 2 other students showed up late to class because they thought class started at a different time. When you were my student, Sam, did you know what time class started?
I'm pretty sure I did. I'm about sure I did.
How do you not know? I mean, when you enroll, when you look at the schedule, it says. When you look at your information on the computer, it says what time the class is.
Maybe they were misinformed.
You may be right.
By the computer.
You may be right.
Landry Brewer's over there. Next to him is Sam. I'm Nathan. Nobody cares about me. This is from a listener. Nathan, could you ask Landry if he would like to buy a family pack of tickets to the Invisible Circus? I'll see if I can get some handwritten up for him. Handwritten. You want to buy?
Tell you, throw in one free.
When are they going to raffle the sinkhole?
I'm raising money for people.
Good morning, sunny, breezy, and 44. This is the Paragon Morning News. I'm Jared Atham. A Sarah man has been charged in Beckham County with larceny of a motor vehicle following a theft reported just before Christmas. Court records show that 48-year-old Kyle Minchie is accused of stealing a 2009 GMC pickup from a home in the 400 block of North 7th Street on December 23rd. While the owners were out of town, the truck was reported to contain firearms and tools. The vehicle was recovered the next day at the Sarah Assembly of God Church. The owner later reported missing tools, paperwork, and personal documents. Minchie was later interviewed by investigators but requested an attorney. A judge has found probable cause and issued an arrest warrant for his arrest. A weekend traffic stop on Interstate 40 nearly turned dangerous for a Beckham County deputy and led to a drug-related DUI arrest, according to Beckham County Sheriff Derek Manning. Manning said a box truck failed to slow down or move over for a deputy, stopped on the shoulder, instead crossing the fog line and coming dangerously close.
60 feet, when you think about that, at interstate speeds, 60 feet before you hit something, swerving out of the way is a fraction of a second. So it came very close to being a bad accident that my deputy was involved in.
The deputy stopped the vehicle and detected the odor of marijuana. A search located marijuana and related items, and a certified deputy determined the driver was impaired. The driver was arrested for DUI, possession of marijuana, and failure to yield to an emergency vehicle. Manning reminded drivers that state law requires motorists to move over or slow down for emergency vehicles stopped on the shoulder, including law enforcement, fire, EMS, tow trucks, and highway workers. Voters in Roger Mills County who won an absentee ballot for the February 10th Merritt School District election are encouraged to apply now. Election Board Secretary Kelly Tice says absentee ballots are available to all registered voters with no excuse required. The deadline to request a ballot is 5 p.m. Monday, January 26th. Requests can be made through the OK Voter portal or at the Roger Mills County Election Board office in Cheyenne. Voters are reminded to allow enough time for voters to be mailed, completed, notarized when required, and returned. All absentee ballots must be received by the election board no later than 7 p.m. on Election Day. For more information, you can contact the Roger Mills County Election Board office. In-state news, Oklahoma ties a record. Oklahoma News Network's Rex Oates tells us what record that is.
Oklahoma tied a record last week when there were 5 confirmed tornadoes in a single day, including one in Osage County. Thad Wells, owner of TNT Field Service in Winona, tells 2 News Oklahoma when the EF1 hit his property on Thursday, it was pretty intense.
Started shaking the house, and I looked down the hallway and looked out the window and saw debris in the air and just started yelling tornado. I just started screaming.
Wells says he and his family huddled under mattresses as the storm passed by. While the family's carport had its roof blown off, his business right next door to the home took the brunt of the damage. Fortunately, there were no injuries reported from this storm. I'm Rex Oates.
These stories and more on our Facebook page and website. Sunny and breezy. It's currently 44. This has been the Paragon Morning News. I'm Jared Atham.
Three away, 96.5. KECO's The Early Morning Show. Nathan, Landry, Sam, and you. 225-9697 is the text line. 47 degrees. Skies appeared mostly clear. We're not going to get much warmer. About 53, and the winds are going to pick up out of the north, so it's actually going to feel cooler than that all day long.
Nathan, Damon Payne, David, I did it again. Damon Lane says that we might get some real legit winter weather.
Legit?
Legit. It's too legit to quit, Nathan.
Too legit.
He showed a map.
Too
and everything.
legit to quit. Hey.
He showed a
Too
map.
legit.
And it showed, I think the word cold was in there, or winter or something, and it showed plunging air coming from the north, coming from Canada, maybe even farther north than that. So maybe next week, I think that's what David Payne was saying, around the 23rd, 24th, 25th. And so I presume Damon Lane's information was the same.
Damon Lane is the same.
David Payne, Damon Lane.
Gravy train. Blame it on the rain.
So maybe next week we'll actually get some cold weather, and so your allergies and Jimmy's allergies.
Oh, Jimmy and I need.
Die down a little bit.
Sam, we got to have some winter weather to help our allergies.
Well, yeah. We got to have some winter weather because it's winter.
Yeah.
We've had spring weather.
I have sweaters I need to wear.
I bought this coat several years ago.
Reasonably priced.
I wear it, 4 or 5 times a year. I need to get my money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Pete Money'sworth? Wasn't he the mayor of Clinton for a while?
Was he in practice with? Was he partners with Nigel Blasingame? By the way, did you have a chance to watch any movies last night?
I didn't. Instead, I watched a 30-minute comedy special with a guy named Aaron Weber, one of those clean comedians I like, and I watched an episode of A Man on the Inside. Ted Danson and his wife and other people. Schmidt wasn't in that episode.
Oh, that's too bad.
A little disappointing.
Sam, how do you feel?
Pretty good.
You feel good about it?
For it being almost 8, I feel pretty good.
What does the day hold for you?
Work. Boss out of town. I'm scared.
The J-O-B?
Yeah. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Fox News, Exploring Energy Radio at 10 today and Ag at noon. Backroads of 3 country music all day and local award-winning news and sports at 96.5 KE.